This episode of the Ponder Football Coaches Show is brought to you by Montana Ridge Outfitters. You love hunting and the outdoors, and so do we, and that's why we've created a way for you to enjoy it every month. With Montana Ridge Outfitters Shirt of the Month Club, subscribers get a new shirt with one of the top hunting ranches, guide services, or dealers from the United States and around the world. With this shirt style of your choice, members receive a 5x7 color card that has pictures, information related to each month's subjects. In addition, our website features previous month shirts as well as MRO merchandise. Go to MontanaRidgeGear.com and select a 3, 6, or 12-month subscription and begin receiving your packages in the mail the following month. Now, as a member, you will not know what month's subject will be until you receive it in the mail. Thank you for being one of us, and we look forward to supplying you with next month's shirt. Again, that's MontanaRidgeGear.com. Also being a sponsor is Heroes Heating and Air, servicing the North Texas area for your heating and air conditioning needs. They can service your existing unit or design a complete brand new system. Whether it's just for a service or a new install, pick up the phone and give them a call, 940-597-9638. The Lions finally get to play. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the Montana Ridge Outfitters Ponder Football Show, right here on S2S Sports Network, part of L4 Media. And unfortunately for the Ponder Lions last week, their game got canceled in summer, and Coach Schultz, being new, wasn't able to get a game scheduled. So they had the very odd week 1 bye, but this week the Lions finally in action in 2023. And oh, what a fun game this is going to be, as they're going to travel on the road. In fact, they're going to be on the road their first 2 games of the year. But this week it'll be on to take on Fort Worth Dunbar. The Wildcats last week lost to Wilmer Hutchinson 33-7. Now, last week, if you heard the show, it was basically the interview I did with Coach Schultz from Coach's School, which was in July. This week we have him on the phone. We're going to talk about that wait and how frustrating that is, where he feels this team is with installing their offense and defense, and just the overall vibe of the Ponder Lions as the season's finally about to start for them. It's going to be a fun one, man. This is going to be a fun game and a fun season. As I said, the first 2 will start on the road, Dunbar, then Crum. Finally, in week 3 or 4, really, for Ponder, they'll get home games. They'll back-to-back, actually 3 straight games. Godly, Paradise, and then Houston St. Pius X. None of them are going to be easy games. So it's going to be an interesting start for Ponder. I think it's a good mixed schedule of chances to win games, but also being tested before you start out against that tough 3A Division 1. And we'll talk a little bit about that after the coach's show, or after the interview with Coach Schultz. In fact, let's take a break. And when we come back, it is the head coach of the Ponder Lions, Coach Marcus Schultz, right here on the Montana Ridge Outfitters Ponder Football Show on S2S Sports. Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at L4FRclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español. Terry Bennett back here on the Montana Ridge Outfitters Ponders Football Show, now joined by the head coach of the Lions, Coach Marcus Schultz. And, Coach, first off, it had to be so frustrating last week. Everybody else is starting their season, and you have to wait one more week.
Man, it was. It's getting to a place and being new at a place, and then trying to get the the whole team and coaching staff and community fired up and ready to go, and then to have a bye week one, it was kind of depressing, but it also gave us an opportunity to go scout a little bit and to see a little bit of our future opponents and give our kids a little time to heal up a little bit before that first game.
Well, and to be honest with you, with the temperatures last week compared to where they're going to be this week, you might have dodged a bullet.
No doubt. It's been brutal. I don't know that I've had a football two-a-days or a start of football season in 20 years that's been this hot for as many days in a row.
Yeah, for all the joke about how tough coaches are, that has been last week and even early this week. That has been the main thing most coaches have said when I'm talking to them is just, hot's hot, but this has just been a completely different type of heat.
It has been, and then you tag team the turf and all that, the heat index and the humidity, when we had a little bit of it all together, and it definitely makes for some interesting afternoon practices.
All right, before we get into your first opponent, you and I talked at Coach's School, and you and I have talked a couple times in the offseason, and you talked about the youth of your team, but you also kind of hinted during Coach's School that, some of the guys that were always on offense are going to be seeing some defense this year. That's the thing you've always been about, playing your best players.
A lot of those guys, they've been one-way guys. And so, the players that we have right now, we've got some athletes that have to step up, and we've got to make sure that we're playing both sides of the ball. And so those guys, the Case Peacocks, the Cooper Reynolds, the Brannick Sorensens, the TJ Mills, Tyson Prices, there's quite a few that we're naming, Maxon Allred, Mason Shirley. All those guys are going to have to step up and play both sides of the ball. And so, along with some special teams. And so that's been big. That's been key to us. A big focus for us is just making sure that those guys are in playing shape. And so trying to get them out there in conditioning and getting us out there in the heat of the day as much as we can has been a big point of emphasis for us.
As far as installing your offense and your defense, how is that coming along?
Oh, it's coming along great. Obviously getting in here, when I went to Humble, started very late. I didn't get there till June. And so getting here middle of April last year, we were able to get a lot of things installed the end of last year, and a lot of things already in place. And so when summertime came and we were able to get our work during summer skills with sports specific time and having that time in April and May to get going, it's really been a blessing and shown that where we're at right now in our playbook, both offensively and defensively, is ahead of where I thought we would be. So it's definitely a positive for our team.
You and I have done these shows for a few years now, and I can tell when you're frustrated, and I can tell when you're excited, and I feel that excitement. You're ready to go, aren't you?
Man, I'm fired up, and I think our community's fired up. I've been in some good communities, so don't take that any wrong way. But this community here in Ponder has definitely stepped up, and the old cliche, it takes a village to get things going and to raise and to bring a group together. We've had phenomenal parental support, community support from local businesses and our parents. Having a meal after every single two-a-days workout that somebody donated or that somebody, the parents got together and cooked or did something. So, having that and just that type of commitment has been phenomenal. And so, we're excited. I'm excited. The team's excited. Our coaching staff is excited. And so, being able to swap paint finally this week is going to be fun.
All right, well, let's get into it. What are your thoughts on the 0-1 Fort Worth Dunbar Wildcats?
Man, they're athletic. So, it's going to be they do a good job. They're athletic. They've got a lot of good size. They've got a offensive lineman that's 6'6", probably 300, 310 pounds, that does a good job and is a big body. So we can't, let him get on us. And so they've got some running backs that can go. They've got a quarterback, that's a bigger sized kid, very similar to the kid we faced last week in our scrimmage, Cade Searcy over at Gainesville. And so we know what we've got to do. They got a slot receiver that we can't let get behind us and get in the open field. And so, they're impressive on a defensive side of the ball. Again, they're big. They don't do a whole lot of blitzing, so a lot of their stuff is predicated on their front four and their 4-3 defense. Their front four trying to maintain blocks and keep anybody off that second level so those linebackers can flow and linebackers can play. And so, it's going to be tricky for us. But also I think that they're a team that I think that we can go compete with. And so I think that our guys are ready. They're excited. We've watched a lot of film already and got to scout them. And so it's going to be fun, but definitely they're athletic and big.
Well, and you and I were talking before we started, and you talked about the fact is they're a team that when you look across the field, they can be intimidating, but they can also be a team that gets frustrated inside the game. How do you approach that when your kids look across the field and you don't want them to be intimidated?
We start telling them now. We've talked about it. They see them on film, so I mean it's kind of that shock factor of, hey, you can't be shocked. We got to go out there and play, and so. Just getting it in their heads and preaching to them that we're the better team and that we're going to be the better team and that we're going to do the things that we're supposed to do and take care of our business the way that we're supposed to take care of our business and that we can't get caught up in the, oh man, they're big, oh man, they look better than us, and then also they're 0-1, we're 0-0, and so they got beat 33-7, and so they're coming off of a loss and. So they can be beat. They're a beatable team. We beat them last year. The group that was here last year beat them last year. So just relying on that, preaching on that, and just letting them know that we've got to stay focused within who we are and not worry about what they look like and how aggressive they may be.
Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. Terry Bennett back here on the Montana Ridge Outfitters Ponder Football Show. That was the head coach of the Lions, Coach Marcus Schultz. And as always, we appreciate him joining us here on S2S. And, he's kind of talked about at the end about being aggressive. And that's the kind of thing it'll be interesting to see how this young team responds. Sometimes, it takes a game for the aggressiveness to be there. You just kind of wide-eyed and kind of just, as an old coach, you say, catching the other players instead of taking it to them. And that's the kind of stuff that'll work itself out. I think this is going to be a very exciting building year for Ponder. And it doesn't mean that they can't make the playoffs and things like that. But I'm just saying, inside the district they're at, and you look at 4-3A Division I in week 1. And yeah, I know Brock's 0-1, but man, they took Pleasant Grove, a top 5 4A Division II team, to the mat. And what they did defensively for Brock is why the Brock Eagles are so good this year. For an era that is very explosive and offensive, they have a defense that might be pound for pound the best defense in the state, no matter the class. And that's the team that everybody's chasing. But look at the win Whitesboro had. Look at Paradise's win. I know Peaster lost, but they lost to Tolar, a great 2A team. And so as we've talked about, this is going to be a really good competitive district. And as I said, I think the schedule before Ponder in the non-district really helps get them ready for what is going to be a tough 4-3A. If you have any questions, thoughts, or comments, all you have to do is email them to me, Terry, at s2ssport.com. That's S2S and then another S for sport.com. And if I like the question, if I think it fits, we'll read it here on the air. All right, well, enjoy the football. If you're traveling to the game, please be safe. And we'll talk the results next week right here on the Montana Ridge Outfitters Ponders Football Show on the S2S Sports Network, part of L4 Media.